back team that we're kind of building up a little bit here on LNG.
Yeah, the Nocturne is, in my mind, you don't want to let LNG get both, but they do have the Kiana, so...
Level 6, so that's going to be a little unfortunate, but the same thing can be said for Monkey. Monkey's sitting at level 5 so far, waiting on that Paranoia, which, of course, is very, very iconic for the Nocturne, and I think pairs really well with this team. You know, if Orianna gets a little bit too close and we get a fight here with a Kali and Nocturne, I love the combination. It's a really good 1-2 punch. Sure, you don't have a lot of the stuns that maybe you want, but it is an insane amount of damage. Drake, indeed, falling in for the Void Grubs. I've got to imagine that LNG is going to be looking for it. The Paranoia are going to get locked down, trying to go for the Sivir as we get a dramatic pause right when it pops off. That's extremely unfortunate. Oh, man.
But the caster cams are still going.
We're gonna get out.
Oh, it's an in-game bug.
Oh, okay, good. Sivir's dead, though, apparently. Super nice as the second one goes, too. And it looks like we're going to try to respect our opponents, but Monkey immediately going to go into Kiana, able to get a massive ultimate, but do we have the damage to follow up? Krako, sort of left here holding the pieces, is going to get their hands on a Void Grub, but going to get taken down by the Akali instead. Bulldog able to fight it out, but going to worry about a Cassante immediately into their face. Sheer is here, but can we close the distance in time? We're trying to buy a little more time, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough as we go down, but that is going to be a dead cube, and what a lot of spaghetti.
For WE. Experimental hex plates done for Monkey. It isn't a Hydra.
Opportunity, trying to lock in the Orianna. Shockwave going to come in, but Monkey does not care because with the Akali, that 1-2 punch I was talking about comes in, and now we have the advantage for this Drake you were just talking about, Alk.
Hey, look, you just don't have flash on Bulldog. I think this is not a fight that you want to be taking as LNG, so they're going to have to give up this objective. Maybe LNG try to play on the back end after this. They have Rumble moving over. Cube has teleport.
Yeah, able to get at least a small W in, but I can't imagine we're going to spend too many more resources on this. LNG maybe just trying to bait out a little more than they can, and they did get the TP, just like you were talking about, as Cube comes down just to say hello, but that is also to match Sheer, because Sheer is getting a couple of plates there in response, and I do like this. Turns into a massive back and forward, and just really a waste on a lot of resources.
That was a good find, though. I mean, you got flash out from Krako. Q played that immaculately. Cancels out. Oh, this might be a solo kill.
Ooh, Shockwave as the Kali, as Garrus able to close things in, and we go for the dive, picking up another kill, and a Kali.
JDG in Stage 2 of Demacia Cup. Super exciting what this team can do now, potentially with a little bit higher ceilings with this rookie AD carry. Skarus, potential for another solo kill.
Another Shockwave, and that just looks like we just saw another replay. I'm going to be honest. That seemed almost exactly how it went the last time for sure.
No flash, no life, and might be another dragon coming on through. Monkey's not quite in the area, but Cube is so damn tanky. He has Merc Treads upgraded, tier 3 by the way, and he also has the Force of Nature. He's completely immovable here between an Alistar and a Rumble. Kars has teleport and will be able to take the first turret of the game. WE are in such a good position here. And what I want to call into question was...
But I do think that is a note to telling this story. WE just really in a good position to grab this Drake because it's already sitting about half HP. Monkey very, very happy to just go ahead and take this. And it looks like it's going to be a Mountain Soul for them overall, which I've got to imagine is just going to make Kars even scarier.
Oh yeah. We're also having some great HUD bugs here. I'm gonna ignore the fact that we have two top score lines up there.
Just don't look at it too hard.
Cup. I know, it's really tough because I'm seeing multiple dragon icons. Thankfully, the overlay at the top is just the right shade of black in terms of opacity, so you don't really see too much behind it, but just enough there. It's a bit of a taking the first play. We're seeing that Monkey is obviously dictating a lot of how this game is going from the jungle position, and he's setting up his lanes for success. Obviously, then we see Kars doing that by himself, solo killing the enemy mid twice in a row. And now you're in a position, Otacon is up and available. You have already that is super, or a lot easier to plug in. I would say it's AD carry. Support has a lot of timings where you have to move with your jungle, move with mid, but AD carry in particular...
Activated as Kiana tries to buy a little bit of time. It looks like the exhaust coming in. Karras looking for an angle, looking for that damage.
What?
We're trying to return it, but Krako goes in immediately and just gets punished for it. That's really, really devastating because SantaCon is just waiting to be taken. This should be free for WE, and I don't even think you want to respond as LNG.
Look at the buffer there from Cube. He gets it. Even Kiana's over the wall. He's already put the spell in. The input goes through, and that just turns into another kill. Croco 0-3. They're going to teleport Bulldog away to hopefully grab themselves the bot lane tier 1. But let's just take a look at how much experience this WE team's going to get. It's 12-9 in favor of WE for the Soul Pedal.
Chorus, but I think everything is absolutely worked out in their favor.
It's really tough now for LNG to find much more. Good use of vision.
Pandora in. We're trying to look for a fight once again, but I gotta imagine this should go over really quickly as Karis able to get 1 and 2 kills there, grabbing a double kill, taking down the tank, taking down the cow like they were absolutely nothing, and we can transition that into our third Drake, Alk.
Dragon's just not going to matter in this game, I can tell. Like, yes, they get the soul, but when you look at just how this game has been going, the flow of this one, it has been WE constantly making good picks. I think the vision has been super impressive. And another player that we haven't really talked about for WE is their support. Yao Yao took an entire year off of playing competitive. Last time we saw him was
some more of these towers, which could provide a lot of the much-needed gold. But it's gonna be hard to do because this Baron's got to be pretty close to gone. Baronori going to get activated once again. Nocturne looking for an angle to go in, but thinking better of it. Choosing a good time, going to lock in on Croco. Croco in trouble. The exhaust coming down as unfortunately our ultimate hits absolutely nobody. Sivir trying to find the damage. We're only going to find death instead as Cube absolutely picks them off, grabs another kill. WE just not letting up the pressure whatsoever. Karis finding a nice pound of flesh to go for. Bulldog in trouble.
WE taking a free Mountain Soul, and LNG missing their opportunity to be able to find their way into this game. 29.5 minutes is basically the end of this one. 6,000 gold lead here for them, and a Mountain Soul near impossible for LNG to get over this one.
Absolutely, and I've got to admit, the damage on Varus, Croco got to run into a bit of danger as Karis is trying to look for the damage, should be able to take them down solo, but it looks like Rumble's going to be here to try to turn things around. Equalizer coming down. There's going to be 2 Zonias pop there, trying to look for some sort of angle, but unfortunately, it's just not going to happen as Karis is able to dish out the damage time and time again, and WE is knocking at mid's door, taking another tower, while every single one of their towers has barely been touched.
Here in this game, WE, they take down the mid-tier 2, they'll grab the Baron, they'll recall, and then kind of the map is their oyster to play around. They have the massive gold lead, they have the experience leads, like, everything's coming up trumps for
in
them.
The game. Maybe he gets a little CC here and there, but like, how do we follow it up? We don't have the damage on Bulldog right now, unfortunately. We're sitting at 0-4, going to start a fight over here. Karis might actually get taken down there as the Pandora going to get activated, trying to look for the distance. Karis getting close to going down. Croco going for the hunt as the equalizer comes down. We go back in, finally getting to shut down. This might be a little bit of oxygen in the lungs on the other side, but Bulldog left here holding the bag, gonna go down. Sure, we got 1 kill, but we still have the Baron, and we're knocking at another T2.
We got the shutdown, but at what cost here? Get another turret here for WE. They get 2 kills in trade, and they still have Baron for another minute and a half. Mountain Soul makes this an immountable kind of damage that they have to be able to deal. See how much they have to invest just to get a single one down onto WE. Inhibitor is going to be cracked here. No mid-wave to play for, but maybe they just end the game.
I think they have all the tools to do that. Alistair is up, but what is he going to be able to do here into all of these insane odds? Nocturne trying to lock down Rumble. Unfortunately, not able to find the angle, but we've got these cannon minions just sort of here chipping away at the base. 1 tower is going to go down. Going to transition over into the T3, and just LNG doesn't have a lot they can do. There's just not a lot they can respond with. Croco looking desperately for some sort of angle to go in and lock this team down, but it's going to be a big ask. Even if we get in there, we might just get taken down. And the turn goes in, and there it is, that turn exactly that I was talking about as the Pandora gets activated, as we just try to lock him down. Buy a little more time there with an ultimate as we fight underneath the tower. Alistair able to buy a little bit of time, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough as Croco ultimately goes down on the other end. Equalizer there on Monkey. Monkey almost going to get taken down. Does indeed go down on the other end, but we're losing more and more members for LNG. This might be an angle to go for as the Zonia gets activated, but Karis still here able to do. There's going to be the shockwave. Lots of back and forward. Cube absolutely able to dish out the damage. Varus doing the exact same thing, and more members for LNG just continue to fall.
The flash used by both of our AD carries, 1xN, will survive. It'll be more gold being picked up by LNG, but it's another turret being... Does a Hex Flash over the wall? Thankfully doesn't get punished by the rest of WE immediately trying to pounce on him. Monkey turns off the light cube in the back line.
Krako gonna get isolated as we start a fight
Oh
over here. There's an
my.
absolute cuddle puddle here for this one as we try to lock down and deal a good chunk of damage. Karis able to absolutely rock member after member. There's only 2 left here for the defense, and we're trying to go for the whole enchilada. Grabbing another one, and that is gonna be a full ace for the other side. Double kill for Karis, and it doesn't matter because game number 1 is gonna be over. WE taking this first point, taking the Nexus.
Wow, that was a
Backing for this early phase right up until the team fight phase, Alk.
I really want to see WE play like it's the way that their composition is going to work. Zahen on the same team, but regardless, they're going to take away this and hopefully get some good pressure down on this side of the map. Getting invades onto Monkey, again, the most pivotal part of this composition and team, is a good way to put them on the back foot. What are we doing?
Already starting off with a Bard stun as Krako has to go over the wall. Damage already coming in as Monkey starts off strong. Actually, about, you know.
He hits the recall button, he teleports back in, he'll get this wave and the next one. Monkey might even get invaded upon here as 1xTen and Missing make their way. They know he has no flash on Monkey.
Make a collapse. Monkey in trouble, gonna get knocked back, and this is that tempo to maybe get their hands on this Drake, and we're gonna look for a fight over here between Krako and, of course, Monkey. Krako goes in, dealing a good chunk of damage to Monkey as we go down about half HP. There is gonna be the ultimate for Mbessa, but unfortunately not a whole bunch gonna happen. Talia there to try to cut off the other side, looking for an angle here on Monkey, but most importantly try to lock down the Yanara as we do get taken down. Karis gonna fall to pieces.
LNG and something that, even with the level 1, which I was very sad and disappointed with, I kind of already mentally getting ready for LNG to continue their losing ways.
Like I said, adding to this pressure and just never letting up is kind of what WE did to them, and it looks like we're sort of returning the favor. Cube looking for an angle to go in. There's going to be the ultimate trying to lock them down. We are exactly going to do that. Able to do a good chunk of damage. Karis able to unfortunately run into the majority of the team. Is turning a 2v2 fight there on the bottom as Sheer is looking for a kill, is looking for more and more. Bulldog in trouble. Getting the shutdown will be super great for the other end. We try to get the knockup. We do eventually get the kill as Yanara trying to buy a little bit of spacing and distance. WE able to take down member after member. Azir is still up. We're looking for the angle. Okay, what a solid Ezreal ultimate right there, picking up a double kill. Absolutely frustrating.
Yeah, he's going to be late. Talia has to use ult if they want to get into this spot right now. This is a dragon going over. This was a very tight timer for WE to find, and if you make this punish on a Monkey, he can still flash if he needs it.
Talia having to blow a flash in order to get out of that, but I don't blame them whatsoever. And for the most part, other than one summoner ability down, we take those. Nice little Drake there for WE. Doesn't bode particularly well for LNG losing that, but it's not over just quite yet. Just one Drake is not going to turn the game around in WE's favor, and we're looking for a gank right now, trying to lock him down underneath the tower as Krako goes in, activating the Crescent Guard. Another one from Ezreal coming in, but unfortunately it's just not going to matter. More and more going down. WE in trouble. This fight still underneath tower as Shearer looking for the damage, taking down the Rise. We're going to get 3 kills in a tower. That's a little devastating for WE.
Very punishing by the way that Cube ended up teleporting back to this top wave. Sheer moved for the dragon, and Malphite was nowhere in that fight to be seen. Now Talia gets to move. She'll pick up this wave, and LNG are just making all the right plays here in this area. Brahm's also waiting. Monkey's going to come here to just pick up this mini wave, make sure that someone's getting this golden experience. Bard's on this side, does have ultimate available.
There's going to be the Tempered Fate coming down. Redemption on the other end. Looking to
oh
lock
my
down
god,
this tower.
Krako.
Tower is indeed going to go down. We're able to get at least one stun. Cube is here looking for. Unfortunately, he does not have the ultimate. There is going to be Mbessa going in. Monkey able to pick up a kill. Things are not looking good for LNG. They don't have the rest of the team here, and the response time for WE is too powerful as we pick up another kill. Ezreal looking for another cross the map snipe, but unfortunately it's not going to be good enough as Monkey picks up a triple kill.
3 kills to this Mbessa, and all of that gold going straight into his pocket. He outplays on such fine margins. Also, Krako doesn't die there, I'm pretty sure, because the tower dies and loses the fortification or the heating up buff. Oh my god, About almost gets outplayed. Oh my god, he dies to red buff there. Also now being missing from both of our AD carries, and guess what? One of these teams has a Malphite.
Oh, and Bulldog goes down right beforehand, and we go into an immediate dramatic
They'll get it afterwards. They'll be able to push them off of this. Dragon spawns in 20. They need to spend some of this gold for it to be worth it. Rise is going to be sitting on the bottom side. Thankfully for Bulldog, he disconnected. He didn't lose his flash. He'll have to probably teleport for this play. That's pretty expensive as well.
Now looking at the clock, that looks like the tower does go down ultimately there on the... okay, we got another last second pause. I was worried for a minute there. We're going to try to match the Malphite as Cube is able to take the tower. So even though we don't lock down the Drake, we're able to get our hands at least on some sort of objective.
Yeah, Malphite getting 300 gold feels good. Zahen's going to be able to match alongside the bottom lane, help push out that wave. So Karis Bao was late to this, but they're on separate sides. Cube has no ultimate. We're never contesting this. WE, I think the look for Bulldog was an okay idea, but they lost control of the mid lane. Zahen's actually just making a very short distance TP to get him back in the mid lane, and this gives a position here for WE to look.
Redemption coming down, and we're looking for a fight. We might get the autocon. We might cost us our lives.
Oh!
There it is. And Bessa going in. We're trying to lock him down, but Monkey unfortunately got to pick up CC after CC as the Crescent Guard gets activated. LNG looking for the damage. LNG looking to continue to turn this around. They got the autocon, and now they're able to grab these fights as we get a 3-man tempered fate, but it just does not matter as 1xN finishes his 1v1, looking for another kill on Bard as we go in. Rise on the run, and I think Bard might be the only one that makes it out of this carnage.
Oh, WE, why are we going for the fight? We could have just given up the autocon. It's a few flower petals going over. Karis is going to die. He loses his flash. The same could be said for most of his team members there. And Yao Yao, I don't know what we're waiting for with you like this Malphite. Theoretically should be one of the best picks for them, but they've just not been able to make it work.
That's Sheer is sitting at a 4-0 lead, which is absolutely frightening. Truly being a raid boss right now. Looking for a fight right now. Speaking of on Sheer, the rune going down, locking them down, but can we able to turn this around? Can we do 1v5? I don't think we can. We should still have a passive. No, we get taken down by Monkey. That's really unfortunate, and that does tie up our score 12-12. Things looking a little bit better for WE.
That's so necessary for WE. Not swept away by WE. There's one in that banana brush that we kind of see now in favor of LNG. And they still have access to the scuttle. Oh, Cube gets level 16 on this wave. That's massive. Third point and ult is pretty big. Just for the cooldown. Yao Yao should be able to escape. Almost gets out. That's his flash, but there's no Glacial Fissure now for the Braum.
Once again, Ezreal just throwing out those ultimates like they're rated E for everyone over and over, and there's no reason not to. The cooldown is so tiny. In fact, it's already pretty close to already up. Very, very similar to Ashe in that regard. So it's nice to see Temper Fate coming down, locking down 1xN. This is a good opportunity as Malphite goes in, closing the distance. Unfortunately, hitting a big whole bunch of nothing. Exhaust coming down back and forward, about going to get isolated just a little bit, but it does finally wear off on the other end. We're immediately going to go back in. Sheer trying to close the distance. Bard trying to help out, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be in time. Rise trying to escape, but it's just not going to happen as we pick up a kill after kill for LNG. Ezreal trying to do it again, missing, but they are able to pick up plenty of towers in return.
That might just be the end of the game. They've got 2 grubs, and there's only a Malphite and a Bard to save them. LNG fought back here in this game. An early invade that goes awry, but just strong fundamentals playing around the map and punishing WE.
Cube going in, unfortunately going to get taken down, and this indeed is going to be the end of game number 2 between LNG and WE.
I don't want to say they have a lack of damage here, but with how Jace usually tends to operate, I would say that Cube cannot answer on the other side of the map. We're seeing a play towards the bottom side as Monkey goes in on 1xN, but there's no follow-up here. What is he doing?
Dying. That's what he's doing, because that's exactly what happened. Double Jace happened, but
from mid lane.
WE not in the greatest spot as Bulldog comes in looking for their knockups and their taunt. This should be a dead Nautilus, which means we can transition this easily into a couple of Void Grubs.
Now LNG, are they going to really get their cake and eat it too? If they find this pick onto Monkey and onto Sion, they can grab Dragon after.
Ooh, starting to fight on the Rumble. Rumble does indeed go down as Scion provide a lot of space in here for Monkey, and we're just sort of allowed to get this kill for free without really a whole bunch of response, missing, at least throwing a headbutt in there, just saying, something. Galio into the... Okay, I thought we were going to get a kill over there. Monkey going to get turned around on immediately, really suffering that bit of gold difference as Krako tries to close in the distance, looking for the kill. Still can go either way. Unfortunately, it's just not going to happen. There it is, Krako absolutely chunking the other side as most of WE just sort of gets caught here inside the jungle, but about looking for an angle, trying to lock down Krako. This would be a nice shutdown on the Varus, and he does indeed get it, so at least we're able to get our hands on something. 3 gold being about the exact same thing, and then across the board it looks like everything's pretty even. We're going for another, or at least, is that the first Drake? I think that's our first Drake of the game at about 12 minutes to a very, very late Drake. Oh, man, look at the return right there on Krako. Heroic entrance going to come in. Unfortunately, not able to get anyone. Monkey in a little bit of trouble as Krako goes in for the distance. The taunt going to come in, locking down Varus #1. As Scion comes in from downtown, locking down, missing. The exhaust going to come on top of the Scion, trying to lock him down, but this should be a dead cow. Yes, indeed. He buys time for his team. Now, Rumble here trying to pick up a little bit of pieces there with a mop, but look, Karis going in, looking for the damage. Karis looking for another kill as Krako goes down. This Akali is absolutely phenomenal. Can we do it again? Can we get sheer? It's going to be hard. That's 2 to go into. Cube is here looking for a knock up there. And Varus by a little more time here for Karis, but it doesn't matter as we flash forward, pick up a kill, and trade our life to take down the mid lane.
No possibility for them to contest. 1xN does teleport back into the mid lane, and Sheer can answer. We're seeing both the Akali and the Rumble trying to figure out when and where they can teleport in right now. Karis is late.
Going in. Heroic entrance, unfortunately hitting absolutely no one. That's not what you want to see. We're going to lock down Yao, taking a good chunk of damage, but unfortunately able to stay alive as Galio gets caught there by a hook. Going to get taken down, fall to pieces. Bulldog. Everybody's starting to melt now at this point with double Jace. It's absolute shenanigans as Krako goes in but gets taken down by Varus once again. Cube left here holding the pieces and is indeed going to go down. LNG looking in top form as Scion goes down.
Oh my god. I was wondering when that waiting arms of his team.
We're going to go from replay into at least a little bit of fight over here. I believe missing went down. I don't think that's going to be another down for that side. And so we're going to be able to turn this into a Drake for WE. And that's going to be really, really important. Each one of these objectives is going to be important for, I've got to imagine, their mental and their morale at this point. Because this game is, this series, I guess I'd say, is starting to drag on overall. And I think LNG might have been going into this, or so WE might have been going into this expecting to sort of 2-0 LNG. It's hard to know their mental for sure. But they're giving a lot of trouble. There's going to be a chain of corruption going down for LNG's in, so that's going to be an important tool no longer in their wheelhouse.
Bottom lane tier 1. They still have to spend their gold and all.
I feel like that's maybe one of their primary advantages is just lean into, and we're still trying to find that positioning. The vision score is going to be so important leading up to this objective because, if we do win this fight, we can turn this into 2 objectives. The equalizer coming down on Cube. Cube just refusing to take damage whatsoever. Missing, able to provide a lot of spacing, pushing Cube directly into the other side. Scion finally going down. That's going to be the kill. That's going to be the number advantage that we need for LNG. WE looking in.
Continue to control the mid lane, but now we're nay-ramming, guys. Now we're just sitting around. We're not really kind of pulling the trigger on anything. There's no ultimates from Cube. Here we go.
Yao going in finally, but he's immediately going to get taken down for his troubles, and that was actually a 4v5. That's really unfortunate. Yao thought they were getting the advantage for their team, but they lost it immediately. That is absolutely devastating, and now the Drake might be the price.
Yeah, they go immediately towards mid lane. There's no chains of corruption. That was a big miss from About as well. No mid turret, and you still lose a dragon, and you lose your support's life. WE, they've lacked some of that polish now coming on through, and it's LNG who control the entirety of the river with Otacon in tow.
And once again, we're maintaining the tempo on LNG, but we've seen how quickly that can turn around. Still no advantage. Reset here for WE. Scion is here. Karis is here. But I got to imagine this Autocon's going to die so quickly.
Yeah. You're just going mid. See them right now. They're moving into mid-tier 1, taking control of the bottom side jungle. Smart. It allows for them to continue to play on this wave. Maybe they look for a turn onto this Gallia. Oh, missing.
Missing.
Majority of his health. Uh-oh.
So getting so close. No way we live from that. Flash over the wall. The cow so far out of the danger, at least for the current moments, but we could be pulled directly back in. Speaking of pulled back in, massive hook pulling in the Galio, absolutely nuking him, and not a rod of return from LNG. Missing, having to blow everything before that, probably got Bulldog killed and make things a little bit more definitive. Missing, unfortunately taking so much damage, and it looks like this one's going to turn into a Drake for WE.
Wow. This was what we saw in game number 1. Missing just takes a little bit too much damage before. Alright, guys. If LNG win, it's not because of items, it's because their champions are just too damn OP. Alright. Cube. You have a lot of armor here, and the flash to block it.
No. Flash, yeah, we're just down. There's nothing we can do. There's the numbers advantage right before the Baron is up. There's going to be dead Scion, fake alive Scion for the current moment. Trying to close it. Going to really struggle there with that one. Position, but taking so much damage from the poke. This poke is just absolutely insane. Jace with the Varus are absolutely crazy.
Wait a minute.
Missing go.
这样落地金身拖时间进峡阵，对面伤害太高了。孙武还有200标上2万，溜之了，拜拜，炮又架起来了，勾到了。 接腐败锁链，兰博大招撒的一般啊，补了个小炮，布刀哥开金身拖时间，孙武还挂上了，谢尔也开金身，有点帅，哎，布刀哥操作了，有点上头了，包的，而且这个一没撒好，全是
BWE losing out on the fight. Bulldog moves forward. Croco moves forward. Karis thought he had the flank, but it was just not enough. They did not have the spells to make it happen. These two Jaces are too damn powerful at this point. And LNG, they win the team fight, and so they'll move forward towards the Baron. Monkey sitting in the wings. He's sending accelerated shock blast, but one of the problems with this lethality build is you don't have enough ability haste. Oh, 1xN almost gets caught. It's a flash away. Sion's gonna move forward. Isn't able to find all that much. Cube just goes down for free, and this is now gonna be a Baron at half.
Absolutely, Baron sitting at half a cube. It's absolutely melted. Damage.
Well, look, Sion's perfect for that, and especially in these mirror matchups, it's kind of what you're able to do. Now, oh man, this is so tough. Why are we contesting for this? Oh my god.
No, Monkey going down inside his own jungle. Equalizer coming down as Missing takes a good chunk of that damage, but I don't think they care as we're able to do the Chains of Corruption and pick up another support. These supports just feel like they're made out of butter.
There's just no tank stats. We're not seeing like lock.
Building up to that Infernal Soul is going to be so important, and we've already seen the insane amount of poke we have before that as 1xN almost gets taken down, but it looks like we had the Change of Corruption and a couple other things, buying plenty of distance. Cube getting absolutely melted by 1xN, Missing, having to blow their ultimate, but it's already going to be down. We're going to get at least 1 Q on Cube as the rest of the team manages to go in for WE, taking them down. Double kill on the Galio. Things are not looking good for WE as member after member goes down, leaving Karis the only one to hold the bag.
That might just be the end of the game. I mean, Missing has teleport, and this is 3 grubs and a very fed Jace. That turret is paper mache at this point. That could be, yeah, I think this is the end. 35 seconds before multiple members of WE are back, and LNG are going to secure first place in Group B.
Absolutely. Missing coming in with that TP, and I can't imagine at this point there's anything they can do to turn it around other than maybe disconnect the router of their opponents. Karis going in, trying to buy some time there with the Zonias, able to at least do a little bit of juking, but at what cost for sure? Heroic's entrance is going to get interrupted, but it does not matter as the Nexus gets targeted. We're trying to pad our stats, though, and pick up a couple kills. Nexus is indeed going to go down to